everybody, welcome to the Black Sheep Props channel. I'm Steve and I'm here to teach you the tips, tools, techniques, and materials for building your very own super cool EVA foam props. Now in our last episode, making an EVA foam Halo Magnum Part 1, wow, you saw how much work we did to get halfway through this thing. Tons of work, lots of labor, but totally easy. Everything went down perfectly. You saw how we started to build up our whole central body piece. We started getting this top section built. You saw how many steps we had to take to get this handle done, but then you saw us cut it out at the end of the first episode, and man, is it tight. So that's the thing with this prop. A lot of being careful, a lot of layering up before you cut, a lot of measuring, a lot of building on top of things to get the layers, to get the overhangs, all that sort of stuff. But take your time, do each step, and you can totally nail this thing. So that means in this episode, making an EVA foam Halo Magnum Part 2, we're gonna crank equally as hard through the rest of our build. We're gonna get it all knocked out in this episode. Equally hard, not equally hard, let me change that. Equally involved, equally intense, equally meticulous, but not hard. We're gonna say that in every build. Not hard, because you know why? Because it's not hard. That's it, enough of me yapping. If you're ready to hit it, let's make something. All right, here's our piece of 2mm foam. We're gonna wrap around our handle. All right, there we go. Now we left the excess because we want to measure it first. Here and here. Follow our line, but just a little bit outside of our mark. Just like that. All right, now let's try it again. And it looks like, ooh, look at that. Looks like it's gonna meet right in the middle perfectly. No. Then we're gonna give it 5 minutes, let it dry. All right, look at that. See that? We've got the front stuck down. Wrap it nice and tight so it goes right around the corner. Look at that. Looks like we could probably cut some of this off. So before we attach it, we're gonna come in here, trim off about a 1/4 of an inch on our length. Ooh, there we go. Look at that. That is almost perfect, but we're going to cover this with an extra piece anyway, so we just have to be kind of close. Wow, that's a handle. Big. Now that we have all the layers on it, we're going to come in here, just like that. All right, there we go. We've got the bottom cut off. Perfect. Okay, there we go. There's our center marks. Right. All right, here we go. Now this is a little bit tricky. We've talked about this before. If we're sticking to the bottom and to this side wall, we have to be careful because we have to make sure that we get this right up against the back of here. So what we're going to do is we're going to bend this. If we bend this back, that way we can come in here and we can line up our mark just like that, and we can get it right there in the corner. And now we can make sure these don't touch, so we push down really tight so we know we have really great contact right down here, which is what we wanted. Now we know it's anchored. Now we can line these marks up at the top. There we go. Holy smokes, look how tight that is. There's not a single gap down in there. Man. Okay, now here's the pieces that are going to make up our trigger. So this is exactly what we just did on the handle. We're going to layer up using our guides, and then once it's all layered up, we're going to cut the whole piece out. Now we're going to heat seal before we glue. All right, there's the first two. We're going to give those a couple minutes to dry before we attach them. Just like that. That edge is down. All right, there we go. There's that. It's got the little step down on both sides. Look at that. That is sweet. We didn't show you what we did on film. We forgot to hit record, but what we did was we took our trigger and we put super glue on the back and the top. And we centered it in place right over our center line right there. So it's right in the middle. And that is perfect. Heat seal our trigger a little bit there. Okay, now we're going to move into assembling our front handle piece. So what we're going to do is we have these two pieces drawn on 1-inch foam. We're going to cut this out on the bandsaw. All right, there we go. And then what we're going to do is we're going to come in and we're going to draw this template on this side. So we've done this before on builds. We're going to cut this shape out first, then we're going to go through and cut this shape out next. Actually, what we'll do is we'll cut this shape first. Okay, there's the side cut off. Now we're going to cut this out on the bandsaw next. All right, there we go. See that? We've got very nice. All right, now we're going to cut this piece out next. We cut everything on these angles so this can come right together just like that. All right, now next up, we've got these big 2-inch thick honkin' pieces. Let's go do those. All right, here's our pieces of foam. Now this is why we did it. This piece is going to come right centered in the bottom like that. Then this piece is going to overlap that. We've got this cool little recessed cavern down in here around the piece by cutting the 3 separate pieces. And we're going to put our dust mask on. All right, nice round corners everywhere. Let's get our heat gun ready. Just like that. All right, there we go. Now this one is a little tricky because we got to look underneath to line up our Sharpie line, which looks like we did, and we got to look in there and make sure we got it down the where we want it. And the same thing on this back end. We got to look in there and line our stuff up just like that. Okay, we did it. Sweet little piece right there, man. And then this is coming in and going bang. All right, these look okay. These pieces aren't bad. What we're going to do though is we're going to get our 220 sanding stick out. This one's got some bandsaw marks on it. Let's just hit it kind of light. Ooh, that tightened it up nice. And there and there. Piece up right there like that. There. And we're going to squeeze in and line up right on the edge. I'm liking that. All right, here we go. We're going to come in with this little pointy Dremel bit. Little rivet detail. Very cool. All right. Okay, now what we noticed is we don't want this little piece on our handle after all. So we cut our handle off right here at this point, but we don't want this. We think it would be nicer if it curved in and met right about here. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut our handle off now, right about like that. So we're going to get rid of this area here. So we've got this curve at the bottom end like that. So we're going to knock that off on the bandsaw. All right, there we go. Give it a few minutes and then bam, contact. Right there on our Sharpie marks. We're going to be careful when we set it down. We want it to be right where it's supposed to be, which is right there. Holy cow, is that tight. Okay, there we go. We transferred the piece of paper for the last piece of our sort of our like handle slash trigger assembly, and we're going to rip this baby out on the bandsaw. All right, there we go. Check it out. Okay, now we're going to come in with our Dremel. We've got our dust mask on. Don't be a dum-dum. Wear a dust mask if you're going to Dremel. All right. All right, there we go. We've got rounded off corners on all the sides, and we kind of rounded this little armpit as well. So let's seal it up. All right, there we go. We're cemented down in there and on the end of the handle. Give it a few minutes before we stick it. There and there. All right, that is nice and tight. All right, there we go. Wow, we gotta really be careful here because you cannot have these two things touch. See that? We have to let this dry and then we can stick it together. Man, oh man. Okay, here we go. We've got these couple little pieces here. Pivot around our circle. All right, there we go. There's our little lever piece. We've got two of those. And we've got this little tiny piece with an angle on this end and a little bit of an angle on that end because it has to fit right in the corner perfectly. So we're gonna move over to our Magnum and put some marks on there so we can stick it in place. Very cool. All right, now we're just gonna do the one on the other side. All right, now we took this pretty thick piece of foam. What do we got here? We got a 3/4 inch piece of foam, and we put these two little details on here, and we want these cuts to be perfectly 90 degrees, so. Okay, here we go. Look at that. That's pretty intricate. There and there. That's a bandsaw for you. But we don't want to cut this line because we would have to get our fingers in there really close, and you never mess with the bandsaw. So what we're going to do is we're going to come in, we're going to get our knife on a 90-degree angle just like this, and what we're going to do is we're just going to saw right through it like that. That is pretty darn nice. All right. Okay, there we go. We've got cement there, and there, and on our pieces. All right, see that? Flush edge right there, and flush edge down here. We're gonna round that corner off so it matches with this. All right, there we go. See that? Nice smooth corner on both sides. All right, here we go. Now here's 2 pieces of foam that we're going to use to make up the front end of our Magnum where the barrel is going to come out. So what we're going to do is we're probably going to take this over to the bandsaw and tear it out there. Look at that slight beveled edge all the way around that piece. That is cool. Seal the edges of it. Easy. All right, there we go. We've got our marks made, so we know exactly where our piece is going to come in. All right, now before we stick this down, we're going to cut that circle out for our barrel. We're going to saw up and down. We're going to get halfway through the depth. Go a little bit further through each time. Doesn't have to be perfect. All right, see that? It's a little bit rough, but that's okay because it's going to come in and our barrel is going to stick right out of the end of it like that. But what we're going to do is we're going to come in now with our Dremel and we're going to clean the inside of this up. Wow, that is perfect. Just starting our cut about halfway through. That goes in there. That goes in there, and we are looking mighty tight down in here, mighty tight. Just like that and that. Now let's make a measurement. All right, this is going to come in here and go right down there like that. And we're going to do a second piece that's going to stick out of the front end. And we'll show you why we're doing that. Just like that. All right, there we go. Now we've got our little nozzle on the end, just like that. Whoa, is that cool? Cement way down in the bottom. Okay, it's ready, but what we're going to do along with that is we're going to come in and we're going to slide that all the way down in. Surface completely covered. We got plenty of it on there. Now we're going to come in. We're going to line our circle up. Wow, that's a swell little detail right there. Look at that. All right, now we're going to begin cutting out this little piece for the back end of our Magnum and straight edge and our box cutter, and we're going to tip our blade a little bit like this because we want a bevel cut. And we're going to roll right through our piece like that, just like that. All right, that piece is going to come right in there like that. Just like line it down flush up here at the top, just like that. Ooh, nice. Wow. That's a nice little detail right there on the back. Very cool. All right, this is what we have. We came in and we cut this little piece out right here. Now we're gonna Dremel around the edge to round the edge off, and then we came in with a foam dowel and we cut a little piece off right here for this. So what we're doing is we're building a cool little detail piece for the front of our Magnum. So what we're going to do is we're going to Dremel this edge around the top to get a beveled edge, and then we're going to Dremel this edge, so they both have a beveled edge, and we're going to attach them for that little detail. All right, there we go. We got a beveled edge all the way around there. Sweet, look at that. We're gonna get it right in the center where we want it. We're gonna line it up. See how easy that is? This is totally easy. You just take your time, you measure carefully, you try it before you glue it to make sure it fits, and then pow. All right, there we go. We cut out the same two shapes that we did last time up here. But what we're gonna do now is these are gonna come in and they're gonna have to fit against this bevel right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut a little sliver off of this piece, and you'll see why in a minute. Push it down on the front. Oh, look at that. All right. Our little piece cemented. We're gonna come in here. We're gonna put it right in the center like that. All right, now we're gonna come in with this piece. We're gonna get it. All right, check that out. Now we're gonna come in with our Dremel. And we're gonna do the same thing on this side. Like that. Now watch what happens. We're gonna hit that. And look at that. Good. All right, we cut a little strip of foam and we're gonna curve it around to where it cuts off at. We're gonna go ahead and make a mark there. Knock the end off, and there. And like that. All right, now we're going to let those dry before we stick them together. We're going to lay it down. All right. There's one. There's two. And there's another one. All right, there you go. See that? Just a slight little rivet there and there. And with that detail, that brings our Halo Magnum build to a close. Bam! That was super cool. This thing is radical. Once again, you saw how if you're careful, and you do the steps in order, and you watch what you're doing, and you don't rush, and you check the measurements on things before you stick them down, you can nail this thing. This is so cool. Love this thing. Love it, love it, love it. that's it. That concludes making an EVA foam Halo Magnum Part 2. Hope you liked it. If you did, give us a like, share us with a friend, and subscribe to this channel. And together we're going to go step by step through a lot more super cool builds so that you get the props you deserve. Ooh, yeah, nice. Thanks for coming. See you next time.